The Calgary housing market is turning into an absolute disaster.
Inventory hits 6,661 units, the highest August level since 2019.
This happens after the government sold you on moving to Alberta, and so many people are going to be caught in this trap. So I just want to play you this because now it's just going to become evident once again how this was just complete government propaganda and how a lot of people's lives are going to be ruined by this. So take a listen to this.
Hey, Toronto, thinking about moving out of Ontario? Why not consider Alberta? It has higher salaries, lower taxes, and a lower cost of living. I moved recently, and I feel I'm already getting ahead faster here than I would in other provinces. If you're thinking about moving, Alberta is definitely worth considering. It also has some of Canada's most stunning scenery.
Alberta is calling. Learn more at albertaiscalling.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
A message from the Government of Alberta, paid for by the Albertan taxpayers, and now it's like a game of catching the falling knife in places like Calgary. And how long will it be until Edmonton and other places are turning? Because all these markets now are turning around, and you are seeing the unemployment rate that has gone up now to 8.4%. It's currently the highest since June 2021. So just think about it, guys. What was Alberta's economy like in June of 2021? I mean, that is how bad it is in 2025. And there is no massive subsidies. There's no, the government's going to pay your bills and all that stuff that is going on anymore. All that shit is done with, all that shit ended, and now people are looking at the reality of the recession because all this lower unemployment across the nation, not just in Alberta, was a complete facade. And then take a look at this, guys. So this house was bought in 2024 for $800,000, and in 2025 it sold for $650,000. The person lost 18.75% nominal in just 1 year. That is how quick some of these markets can turn around. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Calgary prices are borderline year over year going negative now, but the losses are starting to pile up. More people are starting to lose money in the Calgary housing market, and that is just going to become increasing and increasing as time goes on. And then CTV News even pointing this out. Calgary home sales down 9% in August as high inventory driving price declines. So, you know, you can use Calgary as one of these markets that was booming like Montreal is right now, and then you can kind of just figure out what's going to happen to Montreal later down the road when reality hits that economy. Because what is very, very clear is that all these bubbles are starting to crack, and not all at the same time. That's definitely the case. So very interesting what is going on. And then if you look at the investment equation for Calgary real estate, I mean, it's absolutely insane. This person sold and they had 17 years and no gains whatsoever, and it's been flipped 4 times, 1 gain, 3 losses. Latest sale lower than 2008, 17 years ago. Calgary housing equals the toilet for your purchasing power, and that is really, really true because you look at the historical data on Calgary and it has these massive boom bust cycles, and Alberta has that too. It has these massive boom bust cycles. So it's very interesting what is going on, but it's something that we expected all along. I mean, I published a video on this last year about that Calgary was turning, and the Calgary housing market is flipped. And not only has it flipped, the fundamentals of the investing in Calgary argument are also completely going to shit. Let's start off with the rental market that has dropped about 5% right now. So the average rent price in Calgary is $2,177, and that's down from $2,300 a year ago. So with the property tax hikes, with inflation, you've got still a nominal decline of 5% in rent. So the argument of investing in Calgary housing is completely stupid. stupid. It's completely dumb. And the market's turned. You've got sales that are down in September 2024. They're off 12% year over year. Meanwhile, new listings are up 47% and active inventory is up 52%, and it's even higher than it was 2 years ago. So the inventory shortage has vanished and it's disappeared, and the fundamentals are quickly closing in on this market. Because what speculator is going to want to invest in a market that is declining? And the market is definitely flipped since then. Inventory has practically doubled, and you've got rents that are declining as well, which we'll get onto. And that's not the only place that rents are down as well. And you also have to take a look at what's going on with inventory here, because it's pretty insane. Year over year, it's up 43%. But get this, sales are down 17.3%. And you've got the inventory that's up 43.86%. I mean, that is huge. It's at an over 6-year high now in Calgary, and it's flipped around in literally just over a year. So it goes to show just how quickly these things can change. And you can see that year over year median prices are around 1% higher, not even keeping pace with inflation. So they are just borderline going negative now. And like I said, you're beginning to see those losses that are working in as well. And then you've got rents that are just tanking. You've got average asking rents down 9.3% in Calgary. That is insane. And then I want to show you what's actually going on with real-time data with rents and rental inventory, because it's just absolutely insane. You've got rental inventory that's nearing 10,000 units. That is just crazy. Absolutely crazy when you consider active housing inventory is around 7,000 now. You've got rentals that are over 9,000, running up to 10,000. Last year was a big high at 7,671. You can see that you're over and above a 5-year high now for rental inventory. So there is plenty of choice, and that is leading to year-over-year price declines. Currently, the average asking rent is $1,989, which is much lower than last year, which was $2,177. So that's a rent decline of around 8.6%, and I much prefer this data because this is real-time data. So rents are down 8.6%. So really, the bubble is just imploding in a place like Calgary. And I haven't checked Montreal, but I'm going to check into that to see what's going on with rents, because obviously if rents are declining in Montreal as well, the investment equation for housing is deteriorating there as well. So I'll have to look at that and maybe do another video. Let me know in the comments if you would appreciate that. So very interesting what is going on. And then I want to show you migration trends, because Ontario is completely insane. So first of all, let's go over Alberta net migration. You had this massive spike up, and pretty much all the provinces had the same thing with international migration, but Alberta also had the interprovincial migration. I will mention that that's just a fraction of the migration. Most of it is international, and since then it has tanked. But if we go over to Ontario here and look at what's happened, Ontario is actually negative right now for net migration. Net migration is great. Alberta has the best data for this, and all the other province absolutely disastrous data. I mean, Ontario should have the best data on this, but they don't. Well done to the government of Alberta for actually having one of the best data dashboards out of all the provinces. But as you can see here, it's down at minus 4,250 people. You know, you're going down to the 2020 levels and back to 2014. These were all times where the economy was shit, and that is what people have to realize here. So you are seeing the net migration, which is absolutely tanking after spiking massively in Ontario. And then just quickly, I'm just curious, I want to take a look at Quebec and what's going on. You've had the exact same thing happen, and it looks like it's about to go negative in Quebec as well. And I just want to go over British Columbia as well, what's happening with the migration data. And you are seeing the migration data that is negative in British Columbia as as well. So you are seeing a lot of these provinces, people are moving out. They're actually losing more people than they're gaining. So it's crazy to really think about it. And obviously this doesn't probably include temporary foreign workers. I'm betting that that's not included in these numbers. And I'm betting if you did include them, that you would then be positive. But we know that the population growth statistics have changed and flipped massively. And that is going to lead to a lot of pressure, increased pressure on the housing market, because there's going to be no investor demand apart from brain dead investors that don't have a clue what they're doing. So it'll be really interesting to see how this all shakes out with Calgary. And what did you think of the moving to Alberta and Alberta is calling campaign that was paid for by the taxpayer? Nobody asked for it, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I always say the same thing. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle, do not believe anything that these politicians tell you, because they are chronic liars. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, I would highly recommend that you check out this video there. And then if you're looking for a VPN and you also want to protect your privacy and help the channel, check out ExpressVPN, link in the description. That's the VPN that I use. It's an affiliate link. I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.